What's up, friends? Good to see you again. Welcome back to Coffee Time with Alice. Also, welcome to my rehearsal space. This is where Wonderland Rejects, where the magic happens, where we fine-tune things and tighten things up so we can kick butt at the shows that y'all see. Unfortunately, I'm going to be doing a rather heavy topic this week that might lose some of you, but I need to talk about this. I've been seeing a lot of angry and unnecessary discourse regarding Pride Month. I'm seeing people ask why Pride Month exists and why there isn't a straight Pride Month and why can't, we just go back to the closet and stop rubbing everyone's faces in it. Sadly, these are actual quotes, actual comments that I have received and many other queer people who are in the public eye in any way, be it online, in real life, whatever. So, let's talk about it. First of all, let's do a brief history about Pride, at least Pride in the US. A lot of people will tell you that it started in New York City, Stonewall, 1969, the summer of 1969, where a bunch of gay activists, they had a riot, and that led to the first Pride Parade, and that's what people say the first Pride was a riot. They referred to 1969, and then the parade happened in, 1 year later in 1970 in New York, SF, LA, and Chicago, maybe a couple other cities. And that is part of the story, and that's a very important part of the story, but it is not the only part. There was a lot of other stuff that happened in the years leading up to that, and I want to talk about one of them that happened right here in San Francisco. This was in 1966, the summer of 1966, at Gene Compton's cafeteria. This cafeteria was, it was known for being a meeting spot for trans sex workers to come and decompress, after their long nights of work and whatnot. And during that period, the SFPD were fining and arresting and harassing trans people for quote-unquote impersonation. You can imagine how brutal it was. You can imagine the liberties SFPD took. The amount of times that they've cracked skulls and killed people and whatnot and arrested people. And this all came to a head on that night in 1966. Every social revolution has that damn it moment, that spark. Case in point, 2020. The brutal murder of George Floyd was a major damn it moment. But, yeah. Compton's cafeteria. Cops go in, they're gonna crack heads and arrest all these trans women. And all the trans women, they weren't gonna have it. Led by Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera, a Black and Latina trans woman, compared respectively, both sex workers, and many other trans women of color, led that riot. That was actually what the riot mostly consisted of. Obviously, you had a lot of different types of people, but in terms of leadership, yeah. And that doesn't create the nice, neat narrative that people like to associate with gay rights. People like to think of it as a predominantly gay man with some lesbian help, all of them white, rebel so they can be with who they love, and that led to the Pride movement. Well, the gay rights and Pride movement. Well, no, it's not. Yeah, it's cleaner to put it that way because this country has a hard-on for maleness and whiteness. But no, sorry folks, sorry to disappoint you. The gay liberation movement, the queer liberation movement, it started with trans women of color. It started with bricks. It started with high-heeled shoes being used as weapons. Because that created a ripple effect all over the country. It gave people empowerment. It's like, yes, somebody could stand up to the injustice. All you need is a spark and it can go a long way. We've seen that happen time and time again throughout history with so many marginalized groups. So yeah, that was a major starting point to the gay rights movement as we know it. So why do we still have it? You know, after all, in 2015, same-sex marriages, the Supreme Court had their ruling and all that. Why do we still need it? Well, because there's still a lot of problems. There's still many states and municipalities that won't allow same-gender couples to adopt. And do I even need to talk about what's going on with trans rights right now? Not just in this country, but around the world. With Trump saying there's only two genders, and people can't change their gender, and kicking trans people out of the military, and taking away any legal protections we have, making it legal for people to discriminate against us. Trans people are being murdered right and left. In many countries around the world, it's illegal to be both trans and gay, punishable by death. Do I need to go on? Do I need to go on why we're still fighting? A lot of people think of Pride as an anti-straight month. That's the same kind of ignorance that leads people to think that Black History Month is an anti-white month. No, it's not. These months are not meant to be like, screw you if you don't belong to this group. No. It's about finding our place in this society that says we don't belong. Some people romanticize being the other. It sucks. It really sucks when you're trying to find your way in a society that wasn't designed for your existence. It's not all about partying. And honestly, the bulk of people I see partying at Pride events are straight people. Straight people who want to have a good time during our events. Pride Month is a lot of things. Just like Black History Month, just like Asian History Month, just like Autism Awareness Month, Women's History Month, and so on and so forth. It's about finding joy in a society that doesn't want us to have joy. It's about grieving those we've lost since last year's Pride, be it through natural causes, be it through murder or suicide because of bigotry. It's also about creating a future and protecting the future of those who come after us, while honoring those who came before us. Because no, we're not trying to groom your damn kids, alright? But we do want to protect our kids. Being gay and being trans is not a choice. It's not from some fluoride in the water that turns us, the frogs, gay, alright? It's not because we saw a gay person or something. Our visibility is not grooming people. You all, when I say you, I'm not necessarily talking about you, the viewer, unless you're the type of person who makes these kind of remarks, but for the people who makes those remarks, everything is straight pride, alright? Every movie until very recently, all the romances were based around straightness. Straight is always seen as the primary option. And if you're not straight, you're other. When everything's based around you, you don't need a special month, alright? It's not about rubbing your faces in it. If straight people can go be visible, if a straight couple can visibly hold hands or kiss or anything like that, why not a gay couple? Why not a lesbian couple or a trans couple or anything like that, queer couple in general? What's the difference? There's not. You cannot answer that question without bringing your own bias into it. And bias is not facts. Your religion is not the law of the land. Your opinions are not the law of the land. I imagine I'm going to get a lot of hate for this episode. I'm going to lose some of you, and that's okay. I wish you the best. I hope you grow a little bit. I hope you find some compassion in your heart and maybe have some kind of paradigm shift to where you're able to put yourself in someone else's shoes and maybe learn something, maybe grow a little bit. But if you're still here, if you're a straight person who is still here and actively listening, you know what? Good job. Thank you. This is a great first step. This is how we build bridges. And now I encourage you to keep learning, keep challenging yourself. Yeah, this is uncomfortable for you to hear, but like I've said before, it's through discomfort that we grow, that we become better. We do become 1% better every day. And that's also understanding the people around us, understanding people that aren't within our demographic and understanding their stories. Because at the end of the day, we are all in this together, including us queer people. We go to work just like you. We pay our bills just like you. We deal with all the stuff that you deal with, but we're also dealing with this other stuff, alright? And also I want you to think about this, to my straight audience. If they can get rid of us, they can get rid of you. The biggest threat we pose to the system is our breaking of the traditions that they've used to keep everybody under control for centuries. We challenge traditional gender roles, the kind of rules that keep the men on top and the women in service. We challenge the idea of your existence is to make babies and go to work, rinse and raise your kids to rinse and repeat, because that's not natural. It's not natural just to keep repeating the same thing over and over again, and anyone who isn't about that is somehow the bad person. We're all being made fools of. We're all being othered from each other. We all know who's doing it. It's the puppeteers. And yeah, that sounds like a little bit of conspiracy theory, but it's kind of not. You see how divided we all have become. I mean, there's always been divisions, but it's gotten worse. Because when you keep everyone divided, we'll never compare notes and be like, hey, wait a minute. You go through that too? Yeah. And so do you? Yeah. It's that person up there who's screwing us over. That scares them. So please, if you're straight, keep learning. And you know what, if, my queer and trans audience, let's keep learning too. Let's keep learning our history. Let's keep learning about people who are different from us. Because you know what? In the queer community, there's still issues with racism. There's still issues with ableism and ageism and homophobia and misogyny and binaryism. There's a lot of issues within the queer community that need to be addressed. We gotta grow too. I gotta grow. Let's keep growing, okay? This Pride Month, let's learn something. Let's become better versions of ourselves. Alright, y'all. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here this week. I know it was a heavy one, and next week I will do something a little more lighthearted, but this was important. So, hope y'all are doing good. I see you all. I love you all. Cheers.